Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, reaching you live from Lagos. A quick reminder of our top stories now. Leaders of the All Progressives Congress meet with the President at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. APC governorship candidate in Bayelsa State, Timothy Silva, condemns conduct of the supplementary polls, vows to seek redress in court. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC chairman, visits Channels Television, promises to escalate the fight against corruption. And thousands of starving Syrians in the besieged town of Malaya get much-needed food relief from the United Nations. Do remember that all our top stories can be found on our website. It's channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. When you're done downloading, we do urge you to please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS and Windows platforms. If you've got pictures or videos you'd like to share with us, simply tap on the Channels TV app on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
And to our Eyewitness portal now, and here are the pictures that you sent in. It seems to be a season of overloads as we received pictures from all across the country. This first one is from Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, showing this heavily loaded truck. One would have thought this is unreal. Next is this one from Port Harcourt, the River State capital, also showing this overloaded car held in traffic. We also have this photo from Kota Kafri in Kogi State, showing this image of a truck overloaded with bamboo trees. Our eyewitness reporter says that the truck obstructed the vision of motorists behind it. And still on roads is this photo from Lekki-Ajah Expressway, showing young men hanging by the booth of a moving bus. Our eyewitness reporter is calling on men of the Road Safety Corps to find ways of stopping such dangerous acts. And finally is this photo of an abandoned bridge sent in from Ughelli area of Delta State. Our reporter says that the bridge is of great use to the residents and calls on the government to fix it. And we do thank you so much indeed for sending in those pictures, as we ask that you keep them coming. The federal government has promised to intensify surveillance to prevent the spread of Lassa fever. The Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adeole, in an interview with our correspondent, Benga Ashiru, says that the federal authorities will ensure free treatment for those affected with the disease. Last week, the minister confirmed at least 40 deaths have been recorded in 10 states of the Federation. While speaking on the 221.1 billion naira allotted to the health sector in the 2016 budget, Professor Adewale notes that the ministry will focus on providing quality public health care delivery while reducing infant and maternal mortalities.
The first thing we've done is to say, look, we have a current upsurge in the episode, an unusual high case fatality. What we're doing is, one, a massive public education campaign, staying in touch with state and federal government and local government officials, dispatching surveillance officers to the affected areas and surrounding states. We are, in fact, reactivating some of the laboratories, making sure that cases are properly diagnosed. We've dispatched drugs, ribavirin, to affected states, and we're also sending them protective gears so that health workers can manage well.
So have you been able to ensure that every Nigerian have access to the treatment of the Lassa fever?
Well, no one. One of the things we've also done is to alert healthcare workers about the possibility that any unusual presentation, any malaria that is not responding to chloroquine or the new combination drugs, should be promptly referred to appropriate hospitals where they could be taken care of. Viral hemorrhagic fever at home. It will be too dangerous. We are also hoping that we will not have an hospital-acquired infection. When we have that, then we're in trouble. Because with an hospital-acquired infection, the health facility itself will be suspect. I might have to be closed down. That fund will be used by the national. We are giving a large chunk of it to National Primary Care Development Authority because we want to focus on primary care. We will take care of tertiary institutions and also take care of agencies and also, in fact, implement our international obligations.
And to watch the full interview, tune in to Channels Television on DSTV Channel 254 on Thursday at 4:30 p.m. A repeat will be aired on Tuesday, the 19th of January, on Channels 24 on Sky 575 in the UK. Moving on to other stories now, the leadership of the Social Democratic Party have been explaining their link to the 100 million naira campaign fund given to them by the leadership of the People's Democratic Party. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Mr. Abdul Ishaq, said that the funds was as a result of its alliance with the PDP to support its presidential candidate.
The SDP was approached by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, through its Board of Trustees Chairman, Chief Tony Anene, for electoral alliance for the re-election bid of the former President Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan in 2015. 2. That Chief Olufalaye, being the national chairman of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, summoned the National Executive Committee, NEC, of the party, SDP, to a well-attended meeting to consider the PDP's proposal of electoral alliance for the re-election bid of the former President Jonathan, since SDP did not field a presidential candidate of its own. 3. That the Social Democratic Party, SDP, NEC, debated thoroughly on the electoral alliance proposal and finally gave overwhelmingly approval for the electoral alliance with PDP. The NEC further empowered Chief Olufalaye to communicate the readiness of the Social Democratic Party to work with the PDP for the victory of the former President Jonathan, but based on certain cardinal objective principles which must be agreed upon, such as 1. Zero tolerance to corruption, youth empowerment, increased capital funding allocation, and acceptance of the confab report, among others. 4. The consequent upon this agreement, the PDP, through Chief Tony Ani, contributed a token sum of 100 million to the SDP-PDP Electoral Alliance project through Chief Olufalaye.
You're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television live from Lagos. Let's cross over now to our Abuja studios, where Gloria Mezweke is standing by to take us through some other stories from your end. It's to you, Gloria. I do sincerely apologize. We're losing audio in our Abuja studios now. We'll get back to them as soon as we're able to re-establish that audio link with our studio in Abuja. In the meantime, the federal government says that it will provide a conducive environment and a level playing ground for all Nigerian universities to develop and produce graduates that can compete with their counterparts across the world. Speaking at the Capacity and Sustainability Training Forum for heads of African centers of excellence in Abuja, the Minister of Education, Mr. Adamu, pledges government support for the centers. He also appeals to the private sector to team up with the federal government to turn around the fortunes of Nigerian universities' education.
Officials of African Centers of Excellence, a project instituted by the governments of Nigeria, Ghana, Benin Republic, Togo, Burkina Faso, Cameroon and Senegal, with the support of the World Bank. Addressing heads of the centers at the meeting on the sustainability of the project, Nigeria's Minister of Education, Mr. Adamu, pledges that the federal government will continue to ensure excellence in the nation's education sector by supporting the centers.
The federal government, through the Ministry of Education, will continue to work hard to ensure this sustainability beyond the initial life cycle that is supported by the World Bank.
The World Bank representatives and tax team leader of African Centers of Excellence for Nigerian universities urged officials of the centers to look inward for the sustainability of the project, while the Secretary General of the Committee of Vice Chancellors urged Nigerian universities to grow beyond depending on the World Bank for funding support.
It is not a World Bank project. This is a World Bank supported project, but it is led by West African governments and in particular by Nigeria. If this project fails in Nigeria, the project fails.
Nigeria should go beyond the World Bank startup support and deliberately fund these elite universities to world-class status.
On his path, the Minister of Communications laments the loss of about 78 billion naira yearly to the activities of cyber criminals. The Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission expressed confidence about the capacity of the project to address Africa's developmental challenges.
Nigeria currently loses about 78 billion naira yearly to the activities of cyber criminals whose major targets are the financial institutions and the government ministries, departments and agencies, as well as their affiliates.
The ACE project promises to address many of Africa's developmental challenges while revolutionizing teaching, research and community service, as well as expert mobility and resource sharing across the continent.
The objectives of the ACE initiative is to promote regional specialization among participating universities within areas that address particular regional and national development challenges. The Centers of Excellence in Nigeria are the Federal Universities of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Bayero University, Kano, Benue State University, Makurdi, Redeemers University, Ede, and the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Others are the University of Benin, University of Jos, University of Port Harcourt, University of Ibadan, and the African University of Science and Technology.
When the news at 10 returns, the Nigerian Stock Exchange All-Share Index loses 233.3 billion naira on the first day of trading, as the week-long sell-offs continue to drive market sentiments lower. Do join us again.